Welcome to the lovely IHP community and the 5D collective and those who love to harness mindset. If you're new, becoming a paid subscriber is available, and this is a sample of our 15-minute inner growth mindset with a reading and or more. We already had our 3-minute and our 5-minute, and while for yesterday's first sample we only got to see or hear for free the 15-minute one, it's because that is the choice I made. And 3-minute, 5-minute is available already. So once you become a paid subscriber, the link is below on YouTube. And if you're hearing me, you go to the IHP landing page, wherever you're tuning in from, whichever podcast, or you can also head to YouTube. The Spotify listeners and Spotify for podcasters will also have video, but all the other podcast platforms, you'll have audio. And by becoming a paid subscriber, what you can expect is that weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, I'm populating with a bunch of different exercises, the 3, 5, and 15-minute, because you bring it into your daily routine. It's a contemplative experience. As we talked about, mastering your mind means you have and enjoy your body in connection. Okay, so this is where you're a person who enjoys being yourself. If you need to learn to enjoy being yourself, that's where good podcasts, Terrio, Patrick Jan, and also good to say, I'm going to take it seriously and go to both or one or something, doing something. Okay, so this is the part of where self-agents know all about the emotionally immature human being. I'm attachment trauma educated. In addition to being a person who shares with you, we're all angels. And everyone can answer the call to become their whole self. The ones who resist it, Dr. Amy on her lovely podcast shares Neuroception Explained. And so she shares why. We got an avoidant who resisted it because she says all people are fucked up. And that's why we're talking today about what happens when you are interacting with an emotionally immature person. You can tune into the 3-minute, 5-minute. Those are examples of the reading and exercises contemplative that you can do with thoughts and emotions. Now we're going to move into our 15-minute. And so I get to also do the actual reading part in a lot more detail. God sends us all to each other to support each other to make choices. Or if you don't use the word God, let's say you're a person who doesn't believe in God at all. You're just curious about readings because you enjoy that which is tarot. I love tarot and I understand it. I have plenty of people. It's not nice if they make fun of us, but I'm okay with being woo-woo pseudoscience because, by the way, I've found plenty of good therapists use tarot. They use the images, okay? So we all know about subconscious and unconscious, and then you also know the people who are ruling with their 0-8-year-old. Diego, how's your family? I mean, you left them, didn't you? Are you coming in and out from that? So when people don't go and tend to their inner child with Patrick Chan or become a real man, real woman, real they with a tarot, we're going to spot them because that's the part of where life keeps trying to get you to live life. As Sadhguru will have shared in a number of different ways, and let me put this down. So self-agents, we grow love, we pursue growth, and we expand with IHP podcast paid subscriber IG mindset. You also help me to stay here because content creation costs money. And so I know what value I bring, but I also know who it's for. It's for people who enjoy well-being, and you don't need to get a medal of honor. You understand this well-being and it's worth your time. It's worth the money. Really, you're worth it. Okay, so while some people are making it sound like there's some reward for doing emotional resiliency, I'm making it something like, don't you want to grow old and healthy? Like, I'm not sure. Is this something that I need to make? Before I got all attachment trauma educated, I didn't understand why people didn't want to be themselves. Now I do. Okay, so when you see people hanging out to dry, it's not because they don't have options. They disregard Patrick Chan, Terrio, and going to heal themselves. And that is why, as Patrick Chan points out, they continue to dig beneath themselves, to have messy relationships, to have messy disasters repeat. And Gabor Mate, as he points out, it's not why the addiction. He says the question is why the pain, and he gives the answer. So we all know it, okay? We heal trauma seriously. The 5D collective, self-agents, we expand and grow more loving. So in the 3-minute and 5-minute, it was in the conclusion, you accept that some people will stay emotionally immature. What's your opportunity? In a drive, at the night, at home, whatever it is, As a self-agent, you are your beloved and another's. And the crow is where you are your own crow, and then you can be another crow, and that means that you can bother somebody with what you're saying, they can bother you. But you are emotionally mature, mentally mature, and physically mature. So this means you do not use a martyr or superior or a blamer victim. You're not a codependent who needs Patrick Chan. You're not an emotionally immature person whose physiological state, maladaptive patterns of behavior, with the adaptive child part that Terry Real talks all about, brings in what is not a losing strategy to me, because I know I can sound like an annoying crow. Securely attached, healthy self-worth, self-agents navigate from the prefrontal. And so with that, we don't bring demons out of anyone. No one's a demon. Please stop. We're all angels. And if anything, the fallen ones, it ain't funny to watch as they drown, and it's in their body that is in hell. But when you realize that they are resisting treatment, just like Dr. Amy pointed out, because of their own neuroception, so their body is still in a sense of, I'm not safe to be myself, okay? And they have all the available tools and resources, as Patrick Chan points out. Hurt people don't need to be hurting people. They can do the work. Gary Vee points it out, and he's not a therapist. So the ones of us who are self-agents understand that the option and the opportunity, I'm Woo Pseudoscience. I'm the mystic. I'm the channeler and downloader who is sharing with you. Science is not against spirituality. Science proved that and continues to prove that which God told me, Jesus, Holy Spirit, and my catechists. And when I said, hey God, there's no devil or demon, I just see cowards. I was 19. I didn't have any of this, and today I'm 45. So when this happens to any of us that know who God is, we just say, okay, God, well, I mean, I did what you asked, and there you go. That's it. Why? Because I can't be responsible for your nervous system, because I'm in ventral energy. I'm the one who's bringing to you subjective experience, realizing you have yours, okay? So the accept, respect, love all unconditionally, that's where the self-agents are. Martyrs, superiors, they push themselves on others. The blamers, victims, are the squirrel from Cusco land who think they did someone some favors. And that's why they interact with each other. So they always owe each other something. And then they're always weighed down because they're only using a visceral and not their heart. Because they're not their own beloved. They're not the voice of truth. They're not even a golden egg. But they sure as hell will want you to, all by myself, don't want to be. So people who are thinking that anyone can become more loving by themselves, if you are by yourself, that means you're isolating. If you got a small group of friends, you're isolating again. I know exactly who you are. Hey, Cusco, what's up? Did you find your flat earther group today? Because you're doing a great job at, being right and all. Adaptive child part people don't know what grounded in reality means, and they also don't know that intellectuals, we all are seekers. And the pseudo-intellectuals, well, we thank them for their golden nuggets. Okay, so when you get someone who you love who is hanging out to dry, you will be presented to them, they will be presented to you. If you are a self-agent, you will grow more loving, you will grow more kind, you will grow more emotional, mental, physical resiliency, which is why, yes, we're invincible. And like the lovely story that Sadhguru shares as a joke, this bird who this hunter wanted to kill, he makes up a bunch of bullshit, and at the end, there's 3 things he teaches him to learn wisdom or something like, or become the richest man on earth or something like that. But it was basically not to use your breath on those who don't hear. Okay, so people who are in their safety behavior, they live with their 0 to 8-year-old, and they're not their master because they don't own the body in connection, and they refuse to go and get themselves healed. They play out their self-fulfilling prophecies to a T. From their 2-year-old to 8-year-old, there's a story, okay? And 1-year-old simply doesn't feel safe. So instead, what you want to understand is they can unlearn the unhealthy self-soothing patterns. They need to want that. Okay, so you're accepting that you've been presented with an emotionally immature person, someone who you love to death, however you want to pose it, okay? Because obviously when it comes to the big world, we know we have 2 groups of people. The ones who are taking seriously, bringing forth their self. So they're going to reach the moon. They're going to bring their solar plexus. They're going to tap into their subconscious, and they're going to understand why they got to the desert. And they won't make it sound like it's amazing to hit rock bottom, but they also won't make it sound like, it's not hitting rock bottom. Okay, so this is when someone's authentically, genuinely healing and bringing value. They're going to share it with the tone of, this is what happened, da, 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 da. And it's not, I'm lecturing you. It's not, I'm a victim. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's because when I meet grown-ups who have so much insecurity, I need to just sit there and try my best to, hey God, what's up? So anyways, it's really challenging because I've been meeting them since I was a teenager, and now I know they have a way out and they're not all choosing it. So, but God will present us to each other, and we're choice points. So that's the part. Your choice is you continue to grow love, you continue to grow yourself, and you continue to expand, which is why the paid subscription-based model content supports you. Because you understand this, because you don't live life one day. You hope to continue living it. And that's what the daily practice is. We are all habitual creatures. You work with the mindset because, as Lisa Feldman Barrett says, the brain or the mind or whatever the words keeps the score. No, she says it basically tells you what the body's feeling. Bessel van der Kolk tells you the body keeps the score. So anybody who is understanding, neuroception is the first place that you want to begin. Does your body feel safe to be yourself? And if not, that's the first thing you want to do, so you can stop dating beneath yourself and doing all that other stuff. As for those of you who are self-agents, when you are understanding, Jesus shared with us, forgive, for they do not know. Blessed are those who believe without seeing. Turn the other cheek. It was not go convert all and call them Lucifer and devils and demons if they do yoga. No. Okay, so when we have dogma, we know who is spreading the dogma, and it's pseudo-intellectuals. I'm the woo-woo pseudoscience, but I ain't a pseudo-intellectual, and I know God. And discerning equanimous love. Why would we have knowledge? The ones who think we're supposed to be in the caves, again, I don't have anything to say to them. So when I was being asked to not let go of this hand, I remember the outcome. And then I remember what I got to tell someone, which was, when you love people, you want them to be happy in life always, not just sometimes. It doesn't matter if they're with you or not. And when you know what attachment and not secure is, I mean, really, are you done yet? Being a person who doesn't understand that they didn't choose to be in hell the first 3 years of their life. Sure, they can choose to take accountability now. That's none of my business. Their business. If I'm scary, there's a reason. Doesn't that make you sad? I have an explanation for why those who are adaptive child part people follow pseudo-intellectuals and idiots. So when you know that you've been sent to support brothers and sisters, you don't say, hey God, you want to give me a reward by any chance? Because, I had to put up with shit. Doesn't everyone have shit to put up with? So when that's my personal subjective opinion is those who have a relationship with God, they will seem to have forgotten who got the good end of the stick. I didn't forget. I'm an empowered feminine, not a distorted one. And that's because I have a ventral vagal state. Hey, 0-1-year-old, what's up? It's cool. Are we practicing to not be afraid and sad and mad? Isn't this fun? And then you have your safe haven, secure-based people to go to so that you can have fun like this. Not go into a corner and then, say all people are fucked up and life's fucked up. And no. Again, we will be a herd like Manny, Diego, and Sid, but we're all pachas, if you will. So accepting differences and then knowing that the best thing you can do is breathe, recalibrate your nervous system. So as you contemplate, it's not because it's laundry. This Zen master calls it laundry. So if your charges and your emotions, anger, fear, sadness, happiness, disgust, surprise are still hard, it's not for you. The paid subscriber model content, just anything that is IG mindset, because mindset's not for you yet. Because you still haven't figured out then that you don't own your body in connection. You still have a body that's in protection. Because the minute that it's hard to feel and it's hard to think, that is the cue that shit's lying beneath the surface, and you want to first expand your window of tolerance to window welcome, figure out what your triggers are, your child parts and all that, and then you begin to have a relationship. Now we got a golden egg. Now we got a beloved. Now we got an actual crow. And now we have somebody who's actually achieved this lovely moon, your emotional mastery, beginning it, continuing it, your solar plexus, and you're not seeking to get out. You are out and you're the root. You're grounding it in. So we're going to have some more readings. And again, thank you for stopping by. Become a paid subscriber. It'll help the channel. Also subscribe to YouTube if you'd like, and or on our Spotify and elsewhere. And actually for the paid subscription based model content, it's going to be on Spotify and other podcast areas. YouTube, it's once our membership content will be opened up, although I have different plans for it, even though I like to pivot and change things up. But in the meantime, when you care about yourself, well-being is in the forefront. So the mind is your friend because the body is your friend, because the self is your friend. You're yourself. And that's why God does send us to each other. But if you have people who refuse, you're not going to be the martyr, superior, blamer, because those are people who are also refusing. And so with that being said, I'm going to pause and I'll be back with some stories. And so you can tune back in later. We also have a lot more readings that are going to take place. Thank you so much for stopping by. Again, share, spread the word, become a paid subscriber. You can monthly unsubscribe if you want, but I am most certain that it will bring value to those of you who do contemplate consistently and you don't pretend when your nervous system and emotions and things happen. That's the point. You don't do shallow things and go get distracted and think it's gonna, no, it's wanting an outlet in a healthy way. And that's why the thoughts matter. And the emotions are a consistency. The thoughts and how you work with that. Also, you want ventral vagal state on. And so with people, if they're not emotionally mature, you'll learn the Cusco hand. They're not the ones that are going to be uplifting. And it's not because they don't want to. It's because they have yet to become emotionally uplifting to themselves. They don't know how to get into the ventral energy. And as long as that's the case, they've refused to go to, again, a good therapist to get themselves beginning on a journey to healing, becoming their sense of self, becoming their emotional mental master, becoming the person who has secure attachments so can build secure connections and secure relationships. And that's what we are doing as our true selves, with flaws, with integrity and virtue. And the world, don't worry, it's going to be okay. But the more of us who get to be integrated brains and restorative embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating, the more of us have not only the frequency, but we are also consciously choosing intelligence, and we're true leaders versus those who are not at all, when they are thinking that war is something holy or good and that sex is something to be talked about still as a sin, in a way of what the promiscuity Lucifer stories. So again, when you hear dogma or whatever other word it is, it's very clear, because a person who cares about their herd, Pacha, he's upset at Cusco. Why? Because Cusco wants to build this little playhouse and destroy the entire village, and Cusco doesn't even care about how they're going to live. But who was Cusco raised by? So when you look at how trauma was passed down, it is very clear where we are at. It is very clear what functional child adults know. Intelligence, like consciousness, like God, always wins, because love wins. Fear is an emotion that we need to keep us safe from the bears and the animals and the tigers and and natural disaster, by the way, which hopefully dark matter, dark energy. So science, technology, education is important. No person is actually needing to leave any of those to say I'm a faith. And thank you, Dalai Lama, his message yesterday saying, hey, all religions come together. If you go look at it, they all shared compassion, love, how to stand in oneself. And so the messages are clear, and the 5D collective understands we're grounded in reality, mystic, spiritual, mindful, living, loving people. Those scientists who are grounded in reality, they do not buffoonery us. They understand with an integrated brain that we all have a different perception, our body, a different reality, the way we will talk about things. And as Sam Harris points out, different beliefs that are cherishable, but we will know that any of them can be falsifiable, which is why you don't become a pseudo-intellectual. I'm pseudoscience because I'm not a researcher. I am a person who's authentic and genuine and presents things. And when I see, I'm a marketer, by the way, sales pitch people who use the stories, I just think, wow, you really need to make it sound like a superhero, supervillain. And there's your teenagers who need to feel like they have an armor on, which means that you're not a body in connection yet. If you need to have an armor on because you think your brothers and sisters are dangerous. And there's no Lucifer. Patrick McNamara, thank you for explaining how our human species evolves and expands consciousness. And there you have another name of an amazing neuroscientist out there who's doing research. And when I wrote him, I got all excited thinking he would respond to me, and that at a certain point I'm like, Maria, I bet you there's a bunch of mystics that reach out to him just like you did. And he's just like full of work and research and adding all that data. You know how it works for the actual researchers like Stephen Porges. They're really doing the research to help prove it because it works a specific way. The ones who want to tell me about the schools they've opened and their own statistics, I'm like, sure, you don't have peers reviewing it. So you are like the flat earthers to a person who's intelligent. To a person who wants to believe in what you're selling, well, it's not about believing. It's that they like your story. Diego's family, how's it going out there? Are you good all by yourselves? Diego at least learned what it means to be with the herd. Diego, man, he said, okay, we're going to be back with some stories. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping by.